Hey people, I'm at the Brumos Collection in Jacksonville, Florida, where the first things you see upon entering are the automotive-inspired gates that welcome visitors with images of classic race cars on a track, and what appears to me to be the likeness of the front end of a Porsche. If you visited the Daytona Speedway back in the day, you may have seen this original '76 spotter ball that now graces the pond and is looking like it weathered many a race at Daytona. The guardrails along the roadway that are reminiscent of old racetracks from a bygone era. The board track walkway. The architecture of the building that's fashioned after the 1920s Ford assembly plant that was located in Jacksonville. Hey, I'm getting pumped up just driving into this place. This is part one of a two-part series, so be sure to look out for part two coming next week. The Forerunners exhibit is a group of cars that represents firsts in auto racing, the very beginnings of the sport. I love the fact that this museum is yet another one to remove the barriers and let you get right up close and personal with the cars. I'm loving it. Hey, let's get into these cars and see what goodies await. We got to start at the beginning. An 1894 Peugeot Type 5. Hey, this is considered one of the world's first race cars. Brumos says that this car was very likely one of the cars in the first auto race that was held in France in 1894, where 102 cars entered, 21 started, and 17 finished. Drivers took off through the French countryside from Paris to Rouen, and lots of people showed up along the way to see these newfangled machines chugging up the road. People, I have to say that this also may have been the slowest race of all time, as it took almost 7 hours to race, quote unquote, the 79 miles. And as you can see with the Apple Maps I've shown here, the slowest route will only require just over 2 hours today. Woo! My, how things have changed in the automotive world. Right past this beautiful early 1900s Peugeot brass era car, I found one of the most significant race cars of the 20th century, a 1914 Peugeot L45. Only 2 of these cars exist today, and this would be one of them. This Peugeot made 29 starts on road courses, hill climbs, and oval tracks in the early 1900s and earned 7 first-place finishes and 8 second-place finishes. Woo-hoo. The world's first dual overhead cam engine powered this car, and you know that Honda and many others have made this type of engine legendary these days. However, this car's 4-cylinder engine is as big as some V8 engines today, with 4.5 liters, but only 112 horsepower. Well, that's small power for a big engine, but that's the way it was in the early days of race cars. A 1920 Miller TNT cast alloy race car is the oldest known Miller. Now, Miller isn't a household name, but Mr. Harry Miller was a race car builder in the 1920s and 30s. His cars won the Indianapolis 500 9 times, and other cars using his engines won an additional 3 times at Indy. This 1923 Miller 122 Junior 8 Special is the most original single-seat, rear-drive Miller in existence today. It's an 18-inch wide cockpit. That's pretty narrow. Despite a lot of hard racing miles, this car's engine has had no major component changed since 1923. A supercharged 8-cylinder inline engine powers this car with 203 horsepower. Hey, it'll top out at 146 miles per hour, which is pretty fast for the day. In 1925, this Bugatti Type 35 Grand Prix line was built and raced once. Yep, that's right. It was used one time and then put away. This car is the most original example of a Type 35 known to exist. Now, I like Bugattis and I love this blue one. Taking a break from racing cars is this 1923 Locomobile Model 48 Series 8 Sportive. Now, I love the color and the patina of this car, and Brumos says that this thing is original. This company intentionally built expensive cars that would, quote, not fall into common usage, end quote. And this lasted until the company went out of business in 1929. The 48 in the model name indicates 48 horsepower of the engine. And get this, According to the company, they said that the Locomobile was perhaps the most costly car in the world to produce. They were proud of it. This car cost almost $10,000 when a Model T Ford cost $375. That $10,000 is about $188,000 in today's money for the Locomobile. How about a 1930 Cord L29 town car? They say it's race car influenced, movie star approved. One of 4 built, is unrestored and preserved just as it was, and is award winning. This car was apparently influenced by the Miller race car. Mr. Cord was impressed by Harry Miller's front-wheel drive race cars and purchased the design patents for molding them into the world's first front-drive passenger car. I'll bet that most of you own a front-wheel drive passenger car today. Hey, it's a standard. This car was owned by a movie star from the day and was built in the Auburn, Indiana factory where I visited the Auburn Cord Duesenberg Museum some time ago. Hey, check out my video of that museum if you haven't already. I put a link in the description. Also related to racing is this beautiful 1929 Duesenberg Model J convertible coupe. Now, I gave you a more detailed rundown of the Duesenberg story in my video from the Revs Institute. It's linked in the description below. But here at Brumos, I learned that the engines made by the Duesenberg brothers were intended to be competition engines, racing. The driver who drove this lady car owner around in this car admitted that he raced a train on their way to Pennsylvania. This 265 horsepower straight 8 engine could power this car to a top speed of 119 miles per hour. Pretty quick for the Depression era. Now, this car is a replica, but a super fine reproduction of a 1930 Bentley Speed 6 it is. It's a British car, you know, and a cool story is told about the chairman of Bentley, Wolf Bernardo. It seems that his competitor at the time, Rover, was advertising that their cars are faster than a train, and had beat the Blue Train, which is the train that carries Brits across France to the Riviera. It was a 750-mile, 24-hour trip on the train. Well, Bernardo had already won the 24-hour Le Mans twice in his Bentleys, and stated that beating the Blue Train has little merit. The truth was this: Rover had beat the train by only 20 minutes, and it took them 3 tries to get that done. Old Bernardo proclaimed that he would beat the train and cross the English Channel before the train even got to Calais, which is the port town in France where the Brits would disembark the train and travel across the English Channel by boat to get to Britain. The day came for the race, and Bernardo received word that the train had departed. "So we finished our drinks and left," he said. After difficulty getting gas and then having a flat tire, Bernardo and his, quote, spare driver took it easy driving from the Riviera to Calais. They arrived ahead of a train and had an excellent breakfast while waiting for the ferry. Then they crossed the English Channel and arrived in London 4 minutes ahead of the Blue Train arriving in Calais. Get this. Bernardo reportedly drove all but 2 hours of the 24-hour trip. The Paris government warned against advertising such dangerous stunts, but it made the papers anyway. Bernardo accomplished his goal of undercutting Rover, but he was then banned from presenting at the 1930 Paris Auto Show. I doubt he even cared, as he was the man and his cars were the GOAT. This 1939 Alfa Romeo 8C 2900B Lungo Spider is a very rare and beautiful car. I was loving the look of this car with its beautiful curves of Italian design and the supercharged straight 8 engine. What a beautiful interior in this sports car as well. Love it. A 1935 Miller Ford Special Indianapolis Roadster. This car was a combination of Preston Tucker, Harry Miller, and the Ford Motor Company going racing and losing at Indy. A total of 10 of these cars went to Indy, and still none of them won. Ford got rid of the cars after the embarrassing result, and this particular car eventually made its way to Brumos. And finally, a 1946 Curtis Novi, which is known as the fastest car that never won at Indy. This sleek car had a lightweight, supercharged engine, that was said to shriek at speed. Hey, and people knew this car was different by the sound. However, the car was deemed unsafe by some drivers. It even killed some drivers. And after multiple attempts by different drivers and a multitude of issues experienced by each, the end result was no wins by this incredible Novi car. She is a beauty for sure. Hey, thanks for joining me, and be sure to look for Brumos Part 2 coming next week. You don't want to miss that. God bless you and peace.